All righty. So we have episode 3 of Around the Bowling World with Patrick, the podcast with the Bugsy Kelly from Brunswick Bowling Products, Director of Marketing for Consumer Products, if I'm
There you
correct.
go. Yep, you got it.
Welcome, sir. Episode 3, a little bit late, but we had to get a couple of the big bowling scene guys first in there. But welcome to the show. So we discussed earlier, we're going to talk about a couple things. Kind of want to start off with obviously the national tour. We're seeing the Kia PBA playoffs kind of run down for the last couple of weekends now, and we have quite a few players on our list that are in that top 16 number for the year. A lot of Brunswick balls thrown this year.
Yeah, it was good. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm a huge fan of yours and all you do for bowling. So
Thank you.
it's an honor to be on. Thanks. But yeah, great year for the PBA for Brunswick and all of our balls and all of our players. We had a really exceptional year overall. Lost in the title match a few times and some heartbreakers. But Dom had a great year this year. Tom Jones, Packy, just some great bowling from our guys. So it's been fun.
Yeah, and the top 16, okay, so to kind of go down the list, there is 16 players in the top 16, obviously, that are playing in the Kia PBA playoffs. Starting at 16th place, we have Bill O'Neill, who just absolutely crushes the seasons every single year. I feel like I always see him within the top 24, no matter if he's bowling bad or good. But we have Bill O'Neill in 16th, then we have Sean Maldonado in 15th, who has done a lot of changes to his game I've seen. I saw him this past weekend. I even asked him, he's looking really good. As he can get through his injuries, he's going to be like biggest hit next year whenever he can kind of go full force without any pain or anything like that. Packy, who everybody makes fun of him because he stands in one dot and throws one ball. But if he's making the shows and he's making the numbers that he's making, why not? Right?
You can't knock that. It's working.
No, it's working. Exactly. And then we have in 7th, so we jumped from 13th to 7th place. We have Jacob Buttruff from Tempe. Love Buttruff to death. I met that guy, I think, 5 years ago. And every single time I run into him, it's always a good time. Has become a lot more versatile over the years. He's changed a lot about his game. He's changed a lot of his fitting, even though he still has some fitting things to kind of go through. But he's definitely changed a lot of things to be able to kind of be still as successful as he started with on the PBA tour. Tommy, who people always talk about the older folks on tour and how they're going to slowly start going away. But Tommy's making a really good point that he's going to continue fighting out there with the younger guys, especially as we see more and more young guys in the tour season. And then Dom again, 4th place, who is absolutely crushing it this year. Won with a ball that just barely got announced at the TOC to start off. And he's just kind of run over the field. I think he is, I believe, 5th in earnings for the year. Yes, he's 5th in earnings for the year at the moment. So pretty insane. A lot of new balls on TV. Some balls are seeing a comeback from way back. I did see a couple older balls thrown out there. You know, Packy really loved, as much as he loved the Purple Hammer, he's throwing the Power Torque a lot lately on tour. Bill throwing a combination of a whole bunch of different things. All these different players throwing some great stuff. I definitely can say that out of the bowling balls that we have released, this last like 4 or 5 releases have been home runs left and right. Obviously, you probably know that I've been working a little bit closer with your core designer, kind of figuring out some stuff about layouts and ball row, kind of figure out some new tricks for the bag. And we're just hitting it out of the park. There's a lot of good stuff. Now, whenever it comes to designing a ball, you have the particular say in how things look when it comes to names and colors, I would assume.
A little bit. We've got a great team here. You brought up the core guys, and you talked about us kind of knocking it out of the park. No solo players here at Brunswick. There's a lot of teamwork coming up with the products. I work hand in hand with Rich Hansen real well on creating the balls. We worked together at Ebonite International previously. He's the product manager over there on the R&D side. Work with the core guys. You know, kind of got my hands in a lot of things, but there's a lot of team players making these great products happen.
Right. I do remember Rich. I remember Rich because all he could talk about at seminars is Whataburger. Every single time he came to Texas, Whataburger. Need to get him yeah, I'm gonna get him a gift card.
Yeah, he just needs to pronounce it right. He's always the Whataburger guy, but you know, it's a kind of a running joke between the two of us. But he does love it. So
yeah. No, yeah, things look great. I'm we just talked about just before we went live how I've been averaging about 240 with those two new, the Damn Good Verge Pearl, as well as the Kinetic Black Ice, doing kind of a little league trick that I've been doing, kind of bowling with one on each lane. Those two Kinetics, I just don't think I could ever throw a bad Kinetic. And I think the only Kinetic that I particularly haven't liked is it was the one from the EBI series, the Ruby. Yeah. But I didn't like it because it was just too strong. I couldn't throw on house shots. So, sure. But everything else it looked great on. And Damn Good Verge. I mean, the Verge series was a great one. I absolutely love every single one of those. I think the Verge wasn't in the line until after, or the Verge was from before my time in the actual Brunswick team. So I drilled one of those right after we did the whole transition, and also kind of saw a couple of other ones come into my bag later down the road, and then seeing the Damn Good Verge in my hands, that was a really strong piece, but really smooth all the way around. And then this new Damn Good Verge Pearl, I can stand a little bit further left, play a little bit more in front of me, see a little bit cleaner, and it's just absolutely phenomenal ball. I threw it this weekend a couple times as well. Looked phenomenal on the regional pattern, especially out there where they were a little bit more fiery than I expected. But yeah. We have also some new products that you guys just announced on the bag and shoes line. You guys want to kind of run down some of the things? We'll start with Hammer. Here, let me.
We can, yeah. What are you going to bring up there? We can talk about it. Yeah. So Friday we announced to Pro Shop some of our new bags and accessories and shoes. I'm sure they'll make their way to some consumer eyes here pretty soon. This might actually be a sneak peek to the consumer market here. Since we haven't gotten a lot of these up on the website yet. Of course, we announce things in the spring, and then summertime is when they all kind of land here. So,
yeah, so a little sneak peek. Yeah, a little sneak peek. So this is the Hammer shoe catalog. So to start off here, we have the new Hammer Diesel shoe, which immediately caught my eye because I see a lot of things that I am super excited about. Like number one, the little slogan going across the shoe here is always something that I'm always about the little details. I know you know this, but I'm a big sneaker guy. Legitimately to my left and right, there's like 4 pairs of shoes and they're all like hype sneakers. But you know, really nice detail, and the nothing hits like a hammer. But you kind of give us the rundown. What kind of went down whenever you did all this?
Yeah, good small team here creating the products on the bag, shoe and accessory line. We pay a lot of attention to detail. So as you noticed, or as you mentioned, the nothing hits like a hammer. It's a completely different look for Hammer. With this brand, we need to be a little bit more bold, a little more in your face, and this shoe is definitely it. So one new pair going into the season, the Diesel for the Hammer brand. A couple on the Brunswick side, we wanted to kind of pump that brand up. But as far as the Hammer shoes go, it's got kind of that rubberized mesh on the top. It's got the heel stabilizer in the back, which is a big rubber piece. A new outsole for the brand. Super comfortable.
That looks really good going across the bottom here, where it's like that little ribbed, like almost like those indentations, and I don't know, it looks really good. It looks super sturdy, which is something that we've talked a lot about. And then you could tell that toe cap is a little bit more heavily built, and I'm assuming that's a rubber toe cap at the front.
It is. Yeah, it's a hard rubber. It'll kick away from the approach pretty well that way.
Sweet. And just kind of go down. I think this is one of the newer shoes as well, the Blade.
Yeah, Blade came out last season. Unfortunately, coming out anytime in the last 2 years has been a little rough for any of these types of products. Importing them from overseas has been a difficult thing to do. They've landed at odd times. We haven't gotten full shipments in at times. So it was while they were launched last year, it's almost a soft launch.
Right.
That Blade you're showing there is a kind of a mid-price interchangeable shoe. And then the shoes below it, Razor, are kind of an entry-level interchangeable. So Hammer does primarily the premium price points. Nothing in the athletic lines, although there's some athletic styling there. But those are interchangeables with a fixed heel and push away or rubber push away.
Right, and that's been a kind of big thing. Like I know we had in the Brunswick line, we had the Phantoms, which we had a pretty big deal on whenever we kind of got them in. And we have pushed a ton of those. I think I sold through probably 6 or 7 batches of Phantoms in my shop at the very least. So it's been a big thing, especially with all the new, having a lot of new bowlers. You want to kind of introduce them to the finer things when it comes to bowling, and being able to like adjust your slide and adjust how much you're breaking, and then explaining those things to people. It really gets them captured into like the whole bowling scene into another level. So it's something that I always push for. I tell people it's like, look, if you want to take bowling even the little tiny bit serious, or you just want to have fun, it's always good to have the ability to control what you're doing. If you're having fun, let's say you're going to like a recreational center that's, just fun and drinks, or you're bowling a small league. There's a lot of national leagues now with Bolero and AMF where they have all these different bowling centers with all these different synthetic approaches or wooden approaches, and approaches like our bowling center just in the last week got all the whole entire center resurfaced. We have wooden approaches and they became a little slick. And I tell people this is the importance of having, even at the smallest price points of interchangeable shoes, just having these shoes that can adjust everything is big, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say I love the kind of colors that we went with on these heels. That's something that, as much as people don't think about, sometimes having the right colors to things is important. And I've said, the darker colors on especially these rubberized pieces and these heels usually tends to dictate how much they're going to last in that aesthetic. Same thing with like if you went with a lighter color, they'll burn away quicker, and they'll also just kind of not hold up as well over time. So this is really neat to see the black and gray with the hammer logos in there. I haven't actually ever used the leather heel, so I don't know how much that holds up, but
yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah, we just kind of keeping in the hammer colors there, just more dark.
Right.
The Brunswick, of course, we went blue, which like you kind of mentioned, it does stand out a little bit on a shoe that doesn't coordinate or color coordinate with it, but the black and gray go with everything, and you can use those across any shoe line there.
Exactly. Yeah. That's one thing that's also really important, is just seeing things that you can go from, like, let's say a Brunswick shoe to a hammer shoe. I'm sure they all fit really, really well. And even going across into other brands, I know that, as much as other brands are not always the best, we can always still take one to the other. And that's something that I'm always excited about, just being able to move around the one heel. Like, I'm sure everybody has that one old school heel that they've used on every shoe that they've ever owned.
Oh yeah.
Because we know our customers so well when it comes to that part. Going next to the bag section, a lot of these products have already been here. I know I have a couple of these camo and a couple of these diamond bags on my shelf myself, and people absolutely love the look that we kind of went with these. These new like camera logos are kind of they're sewn on, and they're like that hard rubber patch almost. Yes, I absolutely love that. But I want to highlight the couple small things. We have the accessory bag right here. The new Excel accessory bag. I haven't seen one of these. I'm sure I'm going to see all this at Bowl Expo. That's new. But super nice to see that you guys are coming out with a smaller accessory pouch. That's a hammer one. Obviously, we have a lot of hammerheads out there in the community. So,
Yep, that one is very hammer. It's extra large, which is a hammer thing. It's just kind of bold in your face. It's got the rubberized logo on there too. So
there we go. And then kind of going back down this way, we have new totes. So we have the new premium. I think this one has already been out for a little bit. I think I have these in the shop already. But new hammer premium slipple trim. Oh my God, premium slim triple toe. My bad.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. And then we also have it in a camo variant, which is always really nice. A lot of people have been enjoying these new camo variants. I feel like camo for a couple years was like really downhill, but then in the last couple of years, we've seen a lot more people wanting to go back to that like older school camo look, which, that just depends on the part of the world. We have a lot of people that live in the, really countryside of the world where everybody likes to wear camo left and right.
For sure. Yep. Yeah, those are very hammer once again. And so we introduced the line last year for hammers, the kind of the maiden voyage for us. And all this year was kind of taking some of the feedback that we received in the products that we needed to come out with and just made a few small adjustments. Once again, importing stuff over the last year was a little bit rough. The hammer bags have actually been in stock pretty much from day one, and we've done a good job of keeping those in. They're still hard to get. That's part of the problem. But we knew that we needed to have a triple with a pouch. And then the camo stuff is kind of taken off. So we just kind of added to the line, and we'll just continue to just make the small tweaks now.
Right. And that's something big. I tell a lot of people, it's like people walk into the shop and they're like, well, what bags do you recommend? And I have my area is filled with a lot of bowlers that are traveling constantly because of the fact that we do live in part of Louisiana where we don't see as much local bowling happen, just because of the fact that there's so many people that can run a tournament, but we're spread so far. I tell people all the time, this is the things that we want to focus on is travel bags and making them look good and also making them last really, really well. And that's something that, I went this weekend and my bags didn't get beat up whatsoever. and it's probably the best trip that I've had on a plane with bowling bags. And I've only traveled a few times with bowling bags in the plane itself. But I think I came out with just one single scuff on one bag, and that was on the Track Select Triple Slim Toe. And I tell people, it's like having just the right bag and the right build and everything looking the right way. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, if you'll scroll up, actually, kind of on that point, you talked about the Track Slim Triple. If you scroll up to our other totes here, there's a Black Widow and the Flame. Those have the same base with the big wheels. I would definitely recommend that type of bag for travel. Those are the best. They hold up. So there's kind 100%. Of almost a plastic, or it's an EVA piece down the bottom versus just the rails that are on the other bags that are kind of small and slim and do get beat up a little bit by the airlines. So that's certainly the bag line you want to kind of take a look at if you travel a lot.
Right, and that is basically what I focused on this weekend. I think I only took one bag that actually didn't have a bottom EVA base, but that bag got driven by one of our fellow staffers, Tyler Wright from Baton Rouge or Gonzales here in Louisiana. But he drove that bag. It was the Brunswick Combat bag. He drove that one. I didn't have to drive it back, or I didn't have to fly it back, so that one was good. But everything that came on the plane was EVA base, super hard. Super well held. Like, it just no issues whatsoever with those. And then kind of going into the Ebonite accessories line, because you guys just had to rebuild this whole entire accessories line because of the whole situation that happened between you guys and KR, separating your ways, so on. But to kind of go through, there's a couple items that look a little bit different, but we're just rehashing them in the new style that we're kind of coming up with. Shoe brush.
Yeah, just a pretty standard, just a little different shape. This entire line is just the essentials. You know, we kind of broke it down. What do bowlers need? What is Ebonite, good at selling? And so there's just a handful of products here that we need to carry on, and be the same thing that we did with Hammer in the bag line that I talked about. We'll learn from this year and what people need and what they want, and add to the line accordingly. But this is just a nice little starter for us.
Right, and that's something that I always tell people, is that if you have any kind of insight into what the products look like or how they feel or what you possibly think could be different, these guys at Brunswick are honestly the most open line of communication you can ever ask for. If you call their number at any given point and talk to any of the customer service reps, they will take down notes of all this stuff. We have a constant line of communication with them and always giving them input and advice on all these different things. As you guys know, I've worked with Bugsy and all the team over at Brunswick to kind of build a little bit more of a social media presence just in general. We did the Power Torque reveal last, I can't remember, that's September roughly, before September. In the fall, beginning of the fall, we did that. And we constantly are working with them to be able to kind of bring out more and better things for you guys. So if you guys ever have a question, make sure you guys find their email, find their number. Everything is public information. So if you need any of that, it's out there. So everybody loves the feedback. That's something that I've learned, and I keep telling people, it's like the more feedback you can give these guys, the better the products will be. Simple as that gets. It comes down to what the consumer wants, and that's what these guys, that's what Bugsy kind of does all day and all night, probably.
We're not a company if we're not creating products that people want to buy.
Exactly. Shoe slider, that's an item that I sell a ton of. I don't think I could ever keep enough shoe sliders in stock.
So do we. Nuts.
And it's just one of those things, even if you have some of the bowlers that just have the super expensive shoes with all the interchangeable pads, I've had bowlers walk up and have the whole pouch filled with every single slide pad that you possibly could ever imagine, and that bowler will still put on a shoe slider on it. Not calling out everybody. Everybody has a little niche that they want to kind of do, and they've always done. And, the shoe slider, it looks phenomenal. Is the blue the bottom side, or is that just the top piece?
No, that's actually the top piece. The bottom is the black felt. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Awesome. So we're keeping the black felt, just a new blue top, because it used to be black all the way around. I remember that. The
very
dry dog.
Line there.
Yeah. The dry dogs have been a product that, oh my God, I cannot tell you. The first time that I ever saw a dry dogs was whenever I worked at Classic, and I unloaded a whole order of this stuff and did inventory on it. I think that was the longest day that I ever had a Classic, because I spent probably 2 days just sorting through it and just making sure everything was there.
Well, I was working in a pro shop. I'm not sure you were born yet, or you might have been in diapers, and dry dogs were a staple in the industry. So we had to at least bring one color back, and we'll get some feedback on other colors and needs and wants there. So one of the things too, having all these different accessory lines, you've got Brunswick and Hammer and Ebonite, we don't want to create too much overlap. We want to make it easy for pro shops to support all the products. And so it kind
Right.
of the acquisition of the brands kind of gave us an opportunity to really kind of rationalize the lines a little bit. And while dry dogs are kind of a staple, maybe we don't need all the colors because Brunswick or Hammer and some of the Robbies, we've
Right.
got some of those colors there.
Right, and that's something that's actually a really good point. I tell a lot of people it's like if you look across the board, there is a lot of differences across every brand. So a lot of people make the joke that we've been coming out with so many bowling balls, so on and so forth, and I'm like, have we though?
Yeah.
If we
Yeah,
if
when you
we
break it
look at
down.
if we break it down to the solid numbers, bowling balls are coming out, yes, every month, but they're coming out throughout several different brands. Same thing with all the different products. There's several different products through all the different brands that not only look different, but will feel different and have a different kind of build to them. And that's why I tell people it's like you won't see a lot of the lower price bags in the Hammer line versus,
Mhm.
let's say, the Columbia 300 line. And somebody walked up to me and said, well, why is that Columbia bag 140 versus the Hammer bag that's 200? And they look like they hold the same amount of stuff. And I'm like, well, they're differently built. And I broke it down to them. I took apart the whole bag and I put it back together and I showed them it's like, this is why this is this price and
Mhm.
this is why this is this price. And you can
Good.
understand it once you see it and you explain it. And that's something that in the marketing standpoint, like you and I do a lot, is keeping that open line of communication of this is what it is and keeping things transparent as this is going to be the bag if you need that thing where you're going to travel constantly and beat up on it, you want to buy that certain item that's going to be that higher price point because it's going to be built up for those kind of scenarios versus the lower lines, or not even the lower lines, but just the lines that are more focused on the day-to-day bowler that goes to league maybe once a week and so on.
Yep. No, great points.
Yeah, and then we came back with the micro suede towel, some chamois, the ultra dry grip sacks. We can never forget those.
Gotta
Good
have
to
them.
see. Good to see that the magic wrap tape and the perfect patch is still in there. And then
Yep.
we have
Magic
a
Wrap
new.
is. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Magic Wrap is the one that we got a lot of feedback on that we couldn't not put in the line. So
Hmm.
obviously a popular product. And then of course, grip sacks and chamois, that kind of stuff are just staples that probably every brand needs to have for the enthusiasts.
I think this year I've sold more chamois than any other towel in the shop period.
Same.
I put in orders for chamois, and I tell people, and Alex and them look at the orders now in the back end of the office, and they'll be like, "So are you going to sell all those chamois?" And I'm like, "They'll be gone."
Hmm.
And within the month, I'll order one big order of chamois, and within the month they'll all be gone, or at least the majority of them will be gone, and then you'll see me go in and put in that same exact order again and
Yeah,
again and again.
I believe it.
Um, I remember the first time I saw magic wrap tape was whenever I used to work for Dino,
Hmm.
and he would use that stuff religiously on his fingers because that's when I think it was whenever he was throwing 16-pound equipment and he was still a little bit longer of a span. So he was tearing up his hands and he just started wrapping up his whole hand in the magic wrap tape. Every single tournament you would see him cutting up in the middle of the block, trying
Hmm.
to figure out how many pieces he's gonna need to survive one block. Um,
That sounds like
and then
Dino.
it definitely does. And then Perfect Patch, I actually don't think I've sold a lot of Perfect Patch in the past, but I have seen it, and I have seen it in some shops as I kind of traveled through different places at this point. And then we have the new Ultraprene wrist support. Wrist supports is something that a lot of people are looking for nowadays,
Mhm.
or just any kind of way of keeping your wrists tight and stable. It's one of those things I've told people. It's like I couldn't personally use one because I feel like it's a little bit in my way whenever I'm using it. But it is something that we sell quite a bit in all the different shops in the country. I'm sure everybody sells at least 10 to 15 of these a month. So really good to see that we have another Ebonite branded one coming in.
Yep, good. Yeah, that one's really comfortable. It's a little different design, really soft, and yeah, it should do great.
Yeah. And then let's see. I don't know if this bag is new or if it was part of the last season stuff.
No,
No?
no, everything
Okay.
in this catalog on the back side is new.
Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So starting off with the new Ebonite Triple Toe and the shoe pouch, which is sold separately, as you can see right here.
Yep.
Love the color. Obviously, Ebonite has the blue, black, and gray aesthetic as always. A little bit of insight to this bag.
Yeah, again, just the essentials for the brand. You'll notice if you go through the catalog, there are no big triple rollers for Ebonite, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if anybody's ever really, launched a brand or a bag line anyway without a big triple roller. But
Right.
we went with the essentials, and it's back to that same conversation of not overlapping and just trying to every brand's kind of got a bread and butter, and for this brand, it was kind of the economy rollers, like transports. So we kind of stuck there. But we do have a lot of staffers, pro staff, PBA tour, that kind of stuff. Tommy Jones. So we needed to have a triple tote that made sense. So selling that with a shoe pouch sold separately just kind of rounds out the line and made sense for the line.
Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people started noticing recently is when you see players walking around, obviously there's always going to be a mixture of different bags, but having for every national player that like specific bag that attaches to whatever shirt he's wearing is always big. Like somebody saw me. Yeah, some people see me walk around and they never hit. I don't think I've actually owned, other than the EBI Columbia 300 clear top bags. I think that was the last clear top bag that I had, or any Columbia bag that I had in my hands. I just ordered or just brought in one of those Bosses. So I'm going to walk around with one of those now, because it's like I have to have one at the very least that says Columbia, because all of them are like, some of them are track, some of them are hammer, some of this, some of that. I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to bring in the one or two.
Branch out to Columbia. It's good looking
exactly. It's the only contract. It's a ball contract. Got to start following a little bit of the rule. Looks really good. Love the design that we kind of went with here with the little swoosh. And same thing in that double tote. Looks really good. You can't really go bad with like black and blue. Like it's the right color combination. It's one of those things I don't think you could ever go with. As you mentioned, we do have those transport single and double rollers, which come in 4 colors: red, purple, blue, and black. I think those are like been the staple colors in the last year. I've seen a lot of colors kind of been dropped out of existence. A lot of people are not looking for pink anymore. A lot of people are not looking for white or orange. Lime green was a big one. I think I still have lime green and pink bags in the single totes. I think those are the only ones that I truly have left. So I've been telling people it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to start pushing out these colors, and once they're done, they're done. Same thing with just any product in general. A lot of people are not going for those brighter poppy colors. I feel like a lot of people have become a lot more subtle over the last year or so.
Yeah, it's black, blues, and purples. That's the bread and butter for any line.
Yep, exactly. Backpack. This is something that I tell everybody: you cannot go wrong with buying a bowling backpack or any backpack in general. I just went through a little notion where I don't have enough space no matter what backpack I went with. I just had a nice gentleman that sent me a backpack to try out for the next couple of weeks and review. But something that every bowler needs whenever going to all these tournaments, especially if you're traveling by plane, you have to have a backpack that can carry your essentials, whether it's just your shoes, your accessories, stuff like that, or even an iPad or a laptop or some sort of like tech device that you're using. Obviously, I carry a little bit more than the normal bowler at this point when it comes to content creation. I have like basically my whole camera backpack into a bowling backpack as well. But super, super clean aesthetic with this bag. I love kind of like the separation of the color here, where you still have like little pop of blue in the back with that pop of blue in the front with the subtle Ebonite logo.
Yeah, creating a line from kind of scratch this year, we were able to, create it from scratch. So you don't see it as much on this bag, but the front of this bag kind of mimics that triple tote that you looked at, the double tote, and then the single tote lines also, so that it really looks like a kind of a good line.
Like a unison, it has like that unison design, going across, and you could tell, and even going just right here from the transport single to this bag, you can tell it still has that like swoosh kind of like design going down on the bag. So it's really nice to see.
They did a great job on that one.
Exactly. And then same thing with the compact shoulder bag. This looks really good. I remember selling my very first compact shoulder bag back when I worked for Dino, and this was my best seller all the time because it was small enough to where you didn't have to worry about it being big and clunky, but it was also spacious enough to hold a pair of shoes and bag or the ball itself. I tell people, it's like, I'll never put an item in the shop that I can't fit ball, bag, shoe into one little package. Because if I can sell you on that little package that you can just fit into like a 10 by 10 space, it's the hands down best thing that you possibly can do. And then once again, the basic single. Love my anybody that has ever walked into a shop, if you've never seen a basic single bag sitting on the shelf, that is a problem. Everybody needs one. Point blank period. Yep. And I'm guessing this additional products photo, you scan that now and go straight to a website.
I had some concerns over putting a catalog out without big pictures of all the different colors.
Right.
So it just made sense that we would throw a QR code in there and give you the opportunity to kind of check them out. We wanted a real clean catalog though. And I think this was probably the best way to do it without, and again, an opportunity to not overlap with the other brands, even from a marketing standpoint and image. standpoint. So we'll try the QR
Right.
codes and see if people don't make their way to the website.
Right. And this is something that you'll see this year. So a lot of people have been walking around to me, and everybody asked for my info. While I was in Copperfield this weekend, I had the owners walk up to me and they were asking what I was doing with all the camera, because on match play day, because I didn't make the cut, unfortunately, they walked up to me and they were like, "So what do you do all this video stuff for and all these picture stuff for?" I was like, "Well, I do social media stuff for myself, as well as Bowling World, which is a company, as well as all these different brands I just work with, and just create videos and pictures and stuff like that for me to just spread out the word with bowling." Right. It's something that I focus on my phone now. There's this little dot,
There you
which
go.
is
Yep.
from Dot, the company. And now I have everything that I need contact information wise in one place. I just tap people's phone with it, or I have a card itself that has like the QR code on the back. And I tell people, it's like, this is the new wave. I'm never carrying a business card with me. Just going to carry around
Yep.
these two things. And as long as I have my wallet or my phone, which I don't think either of those will ever leave me,
Mhm.
I'll be able to kind of spread the word without having to hand out 1,600 business cards in one event,
Yeah,
which
I've
is
looked into those as well for the company. It's a great way, and these QR codes, while they came around a long time ago, I think they're just kind of making their way back
yep,
to the forefront. So many restaurants during COVID, that's the only way you could get a menu. So
yep,
people are kind of used to using them a little bit more than in the past. And I think they're super useful, and I'd like
exactly,
to get to a place where it drives people to a website where there's a video and a product video and some other ways of finding out just more information. We started putting them on the Brunswick ball talkers, the shell talkers that you guys use
right.
in the pro shops. It's a great feature and tool for consumers that are looking at the wall and you're too busy drilling a ball or something, and they can go check out a video and see what the pros
Right.
have to say about it, and hopefully drives them to buy it.
Exactly. And that's something that I'm always looking forward to, is just ways to kind of move forward. Um, I had a train of thought and then it went away. Wow. It's
I
first.
rambled on. Sorry.
No, you're good. No, but this is something that's always good, seeing kind of the technology advances. And I tell people, it's like, you see, I went again. Wow. It's not my day.
You're good.
But no, yeah, no, it's one of those things that just with technology advances, all this stuff is always good to kind of see. A lot of tournaments, that's what I was getting at. A lot of tournaments also start using QR codes. So there's NDO Bowling, who's, I mean,
Mhm.
Omar Arnett runs probably one of the
Yeah.
greatest
Yeah.
tournament systems ever. And he started using QR codes last year, just after COVID. And he kind of has pushed a couple of the tournament directors in the local area and just across the board. I've seen a lot more QR codes. The PBA is using them as well now. It's one of those things, I think if every pro shop can kind of find their way to have something like that, is probably the
Mhm.
best. I tell people, it's like, now with my business card, I do that. I'm going to print out that QR code. I'm also going to have it on the shop shelf. So if you ever needed to get my info, somebody can walk up, scan it, walk away, and not have to worry
Perfect.
about grabbing a card or waiting for me to finish. But kind of to keep on going here, the Brunswick shoe catalog, to start off with, the Fury, which is the new badass shoe in the Brunswick line.
I'm super excited about this shoe. Totally different look for Brunswick.
Yep.
I just love everything about this shoe. I wish that you could feel what the shoe feels like through a catalog. It's a rubberized material there. It's completely
Right.
different than anything I've seen in bowling. And then it's got the dial, which I love. I've got some golf shoes with it, and can't wait to get my pair in. Yeah, this
Right.
shoe is going to be hot this year.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. It looks like it's definitely a little bit more heavy duty. You can
Yeah.
kind of tell the texture. I can tell, at least through my end, the little texture going across that rubberized exterior. And I'm assuming this is more of a breathable mesh that we have
It's
here.
actually it's a rubberized as well, similar to
Okay.
what was on the Hammer shoe,
Okay.
maybe a little bit different. It's got the mesh backing though, so it is
Okay.
breathable. Yep.
Okay. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And then the dial, is a specific company that's the dial through?
It's Yeah, it's actually a top, which is
Okay.
it's not BOA, which you see in a lot of shoes.
Yeah.
Some brands have their own. Puma, they've got their own disc.
Right.
Skechers, stuff like that. This a top is actually used on a lot of bicycle shoes.
Okay.
How you have the bike shoes that kind of lock into place on the
Yeah.
bike pedals there. So that's been used in that industry a lot. So it's proven, and it's a super simple dial. You dial it back to loosen it. You dial it forward and click it to tighten the shoe. And
Sweet.
we've done a lot of product testing, and it's held up really well.
Sweet, so sweet. And I think this is something that, just like anybody else, if you look at the market, a lot of more people are looking at those shoeless or those laceless shoe options. Obviously, in the past, there's been some where it's been like no laces, no way of tightening them up. Those didn't last very long. I tell a lot of people, it's like you have to have some sort of lace, because if you don't, then it's just not going to work out very well. They stretch out too much and they become too big. But seeing a lot of the companies kind of put together their own twist or, locking system where it's a single cord and you can't like actually untie it, and it's just like the new technology kind of coming in. It's super intuitive. I tell people, it's like, I don't think I'll ever go back to a shoe with laces on it. And if I do, it would be the hammer shoes at that point. And that would be even like questionable. I'd probably stick to the Brunswick shoe at this point. But I definitely like the look of this one. This one looks like it's going to be in the top of my list. I have too many bowling shoes. I have like 6 pairs of bowling shoes right now, and I like go through them and try to swap them around. And once one's break down, I just get into another. But it's gonna be, yeah. I'm a big shoe guy. I tell people, like, I'm telling you, like, I can reach down here. Here's one shoe.
Oh, nice.
And then we have another, and then reach down again. Have another. So they're just,
Good for you. I spent a lot of time on eBay looking at Jordans and can never pull the trigger. They're a little out of my range.
I'll make sure I get you my. I'll make sure I get you my contact. I have a little bit of a source. But yeah, no, it's always good to see a new shoe option, especially in the Brunswick line. I tell a lot of people, it's like seeing something like this in the Brunswick line is definitely different, because a lot of the Brunswick shoes in the last couple of years are a little bit less tall and a little bit less bulky, and this one seems like it's going to be the bulkiest shoe that we have, which is going to be a great thing. Kind of going down, we still have the Team Brunswick shoes in the white and the black. The black being left-handed, right-handed, the white just being right-handed. These have looked great, and everybody's wearing them still. But I do feel like a lot of people are going to probably transition to this guy little by little, especially as the season ends and the new season starts for the summer, or my centers don't do summer leagues. They just kind of run through the summer, and then we start back up the fall as soon as we're done. But I definitely see quite a few people after payout kind of coming in, grabbing this, especially after we highlight them more at Bowl Expo and a few other things. Sorry, 1 second.
You're good.
Ooh, running the gas low. All right. But yeah, no. Siege, I think. Okay, yeah, it says it literally right here. New.
Yep,
this is. I'm assuming this is a mid to low or mid price, because it's interchangeable still.
Yep, same price point as that Comfort Knit that's in the line, in that Phantom kind of price range that you've already kind of talked about. So it's kind of a mid-priced, interchangeable. Still comes with a lot of the heels and soles. It's kind of a value shoe. And that blue, it would be great if there was just a better way to get things to pop on a flat page. That blue is awesome. It's metallic. It pops. The logo is kind of subtle with no color in it. Another shoe looks fantastic, and it's extremely comfortable. It's got a really comfortable outsole and footbed.
Sweet. Yeah, no, I definitely like it. The blue definitely speaks very loudly, even through the screen on here. This will be probably one of those things where this year at Expo, I'm going to do a lot more prep work to be able to kind of come in and do pictures and videos of everything a little bit more in detail. I'll make sure that blue pops on video.
Yeah, we'll get you some samples too, so you can do it back home as well.
Yep, that's always appreciated. I tell people this is the best part about working with companies left and right, is they're willing to go out of their way to be able to provide the products, to be able to show them off as best as possible. Right? Bowling balls is one thing. Those come in and those, get drilled, see them a month later. But the things that really last over the years is going to be shoes, it's going to be bags. So people left and right, I get more questions about shoes and bags. And it's just really hard right now, especially with the times being how they are, to be able to highlight those things, because I don't want to highlight something that we can't immediately get. But I feel like as this year kind of goes, we're going to see things kind of get better. And it's definitely going to be one of those things that as I review more and more things, everybody's asking about all these different shoes, all these different bags, all these different things. And I tell people, it's like, I'm going to review anything everybody could possibly send me. If I get a shipment one day that a truck has to pull up to the front door to drop it off, I will do the whole thing. I will probably not sleep for like a month. But as we kind of see
new products for you, we can get that truck your way.
Yeah, right. Send it. But yeah, no. And then kind of going down, we see the Rampages. These sold quite a bit through our website. I know that for sure, as well as the Slingshots, because they have that little bit of a Velcro kind of tie. This is a little bit more for the casual bowler that's looking for something a little bit more comfort, a little bit more sneaker-like, right? It kind of mixes in. Yeah, it kind of mixes into like that Adidas range of shoes where it has that like softer mesh feel. The fuses, these look really good. I saw the picture of these earlier, and I was like, this is the first one that I want to talk about. But then
Yeah.
I have to go through the list. But I love this black and white new colorway that you guys came out with.
Yep.
Who had
Yeah.
the inspiration on this one? Because I feel like somebody had to have like the big idea on this one.
Yeah, like I said, small team here. We've got a product manager that focuses just on bags, shoes, and accessories, and
Right.
it's a female. And I think having kind of that female touch on some of these products, you get a little bit more style. And she works with a supplier that is really good at supplying us with ideas and technology that they're able to use. A lot of the times we'll come up with some things, get inspired by a Nike or something like that and go to them. And
Right.
it's just not something that we can pull off within a price range or something. But
Right.
they're really good at trying to help us get products like this that are unique and different in a price ranges that'll be affordable for the consumer. And this is one that we're really excited about because that Fuse, the red one, has done really well for us. We've
100%
got a few
has.
shoes now. Yeah, it's been great. And so this black and white, kind of a classic color combination there, but also some chaos in the outsole. It should be pretty fun.
And
Should
that
go
is the
well.
colorway. That is the name of this colorway. It's chaos. I absolutely love it. Everybody's kind of, again, a lot of subtleness in this design, but it still has its like pop out there. So it's something that we always want to see. And just like you said, it is probably the toughest thing to probably put together. Like prices are increasing on things, and we're trying to price everything at the best possible price. And we've seen a lot of price changes over the last year. I tell people it's like there was a point in time where I, for probably a month or so, didn't change the prices on anything because it was just going up. So I just took off all my tags for a month and said, I'm going to wait. And I was telling, yeah,
It's like going to a steak restaurant. You have to pay market price when something comes in. It's been incredible, the price increases over the last years with the COVID and the supply chain and everything else. I feel for pro shops because we've had to go through so many price changes and updates over the last couple of years, or last year anyway. It's been
right.
insane.
That's totally understandable. Okay, so we have a couple questions here. So, Mr. My Thoughts Are Freedom said, are these close to the SST8s? Have not had any better shoes, and they are on their last leg. He's talking, I'm assuming, about these Furies. If not, it had to be the diesel shoe, if I had to take a guess, but I'm assuming it was the Furies. What are your thoughts? I'm sure you've worn a pair of Dexter 2s in your past, but
A high-end shoe is comparable. We wanted to put out a product line that was for high-end bowlers, and anything you see here with the fixed outsole on the push away and interchangeables, I would put it comparable. I'd put them up against any other product in the market as far as durability, as far as performance, all the features that matter to a bowler. So yeah, I wouldn't be concerned about going from Dexter to a Brunswick shoe or a Hammer shoe right now by any means. And I think as a pro shop guy and somebody that bowls as well, I would imagine you'd stand behind that as well.
yeah, I can tell you right now, I have, again, like I mentioned earlier, I have quite a bit of shoes sitting around in the shop, and I can go really easily between one brand and another and be 100% comfortable that I'm going to be able to get out there, bowl, and not see a bunch of wear and tear. Obviously, some shoes are always going to wear a little bit more, but that's also depending on who you are as a bowler. So that's something that you have to go into your shop guy and really show him how you bowl, get him to look at you and just kind of figure out the things that you need to aim for. I feel like this shoe right here is going to be really good for the avid bowler that's bowling multiple leagues a week, it's bowling tournaments. It's going to be one of those things that you just have to match the right shoe for who you are. This is definitely going to be, and I'm excited about seeing them in person and being able to kind of get a feel for them. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be the tournament shoe or the avid bowler that's bowling 4 or 5 times a week or bowling tournaments every weekend, traveling and all that. And that's something that I tell people all the time. You can't just buy any shoe if you're planning on doing more than what the shoe is capable of. You have to keep that in mind. So definitely a good question. I appreciate that one. Mr. The Hype here. This is Charles Hutcherson. I know you know him. Everybody knows Charles. But Charles says, super necessary information, or oh my God, super necessary to get this information out there. Not much content out there on these shoes, or in shoes in general. I think I've been one of the very few that have gotten out of their way to be able to make shoe reviews. And obviously, as time goes on this year and you guys can get me some of these products, we're going to kind of throw in some more shoe reviews throughout the whole entire season, especially at Bowl Expo starting off there. It's going to look really good. It's one of those things that I tell people, it's like, that's what I'm aiming for, not aiming for the just regular bowling ball review channel, because that's what a lot of things are out there for. I want to review everything. So little by little, we're going to get more products in, especially now that things are slowly looking better. Once they look a little bit better and we can get more and more stuff in, we'll, put out more stuff out there for the people, talk about more
Good.
details about all these bags, all these shoes. Tony Campagna, and I know you know Tony very well.
Tony, left hand wide. I'm not joking here. I've got a sticky note on my, I wish I could share my screen with you, but I've got a note that says Tony's name here, 10 left-handed wide, up on my screen. So I know to take care of when some of these come in. So
yeah,
for sure.
There you go. So Tony, there you go. You get a 10 left-handed wide, or 10 and a half, I believe. But yeah, no, really good stuff here. And then the bag catalog, you guys had quite a few new Brunswick bags here coming into the 22-23 season. To start off with the Quest line, a little bit. I mean, this is like completely different design from the last bag line that we saw.
This one's awesome.
So this is replacing the Crown, right?
Crown Deluxe.
Okay, so no more Crown Deluxe. Now we have the Quest line. Quite a few things that pop out immediately, like the wheels. They look a little bit different. They have that little hubcap, like the older school hubcap looking kind of design with the Brunswick logo on it, which looks absolutely phenomenal. I love these color tones. You guys still kept some of those older colors, like the neon yellow. That I honestly never been a big fan of neon. My dad is, so I'm like, maybe this bag for my dad, because he needs a new bag here at one point or another. This bag is like last limbs.
It's subtle too. We didn't do the piping, and we didn't kind of go overboard with it. It's just some of the logo pops and the zipper pulls. So it's subtle, but it also is a little bit flashy. And then if you're a little bit more conservative, then you got the bag on the left there. That's just very classic Brunswick colors. Darker blue, lighter blue, and some white.
Yeah, no, it looks absolutely phenomenal. It looks like there's a lot of space because it has compartments on both sides, and then you have one smaller one here at the top. Obviously, the other side, I'm assuming, is just one single big slide compartment, and then you have shoe compartment, smaller accessory compartment right at the top. It has handles on the top. Does it have a handle on the bottom side, or is it like that like harder metal bottom handle?
Yep, it's the harder rubber that's built into the base.
Perfect.
Or I'm sorry, plastic. Yep.
Sweet. And then a little bit, something that I noticed a lot of bags doing here recently is this like strap kind of system at the top with the lining. This looks absolutely phenomenal. I want to zoom into this. It looks like there's a subtle design on here.
There is. Yeah, it's got Brunswick all across it with the crowns, and
that looks awesome.
It's super robust. Those the straps are the most robust in bowling. Ball's not going anywhere. Ball's base is great. So yeah, everything about this bag line is high end. This is premium right here.
Sweet. No, it looks absolutely phenomenal. I love it. Really, really dig the colors. Again, the subtle neon in this bag is definitely, it's not too much, it's not too little. It's just that right amount of like that poppy little flavor that you kind of want to see in any other product. It's one of those things that even now, like, I'm learning how to like accessorize things better, especially as I live a little bit more of a different lifestyle. So having these little pops of like color just thrown in there is really nice. And then we have the same thing with the Quest Double, kind of the same design going across, just in the smaller, compact little function for those bowlers that might just walk in with one or two balls, never know. But no, it looks like plenty of space. Again, you have kind of minimized compartment with the side compartment just being one. I'm assuming there's compartments on both sides of the bag still.
Same on the other side. Yep.
There we go. And then going down, the Edge Triple Roller series is still around. This is a new colorway for the Blitz and the purple. These have sold really well over the last couple of years. And I think the Blitz line will just always sell really well. It's in a good price point. They look good. They have plenty of space.
Price point bag. Yep.
And just to kind of keep going down through here, there's a new white in the Zone Double, which white never does the greatest, but here in the last year, I've had a couple more people want white bags. I don't know what it is. White shoes, white bags.
There's not a lot of white on it. The Edge line, we brought out the white in the Edge line, and it did really well for us overall. So we decided to bring it down here to a little lower price point, kind of expand the line a little bit.
Yeah, no, it looks really good. And then here's that Edge line again in the bags. And I'm wondering if I'm missing anything on this list. I'm assuming not. Oh, here we go. New Blitz Seafoam color. Everybody loves the good Seafoam.
Do something different. There's no other Seafoam out there, and it was a color swatch that we got a hold of and decided to throw it in the line. So looks good.
Looks really good. I love these Blitz bags. They're probably my favorite single ball tote to sell. because they have that separation at the top of the bag with the flap for the shoes. And this just all the way around, probably one of my top sellers when it comes to single ball totes. Just absolutely phenomenal. Nothing new here in the T-zone bags, I believe these are called. Yeah, T-zone bags. Yeah, no. And the new backpack, Imperial backpack. Looks like it's a little bit different design input on that one.
Yeah, so every couple of years, it's just kind of imperative that we kind of upgrade or not even upgrade, but just refresh the line a little bit. We had an opportunity with a supplier that had some different backpack designs that really fit what we were looking for from a shoe compartment and a tablet compartment and accessories and that kind of stuff. Really different design as far as pockets and all that kind of stuff goes. It's got a rubberized logo there on the top as well. And it just fits the necessities and the needs. The touring backpack, if anything, we got a lot of feedback that maybe it was too big. There was just more room than any other bowling backpack out there and maybe a little bit too much. And it was just time to refresh. And this one's a little more compact while still having room for everything. I know there's not enough room for you still, but at the same time, most bowlers don't carry what you do.
Yeah, I don't think I could tell anybody ever that I have. Like, even this new backpack that I got is definitely not enough space, though. It has just like a little bit of space left, and I think I could fill a couple more spots, but definitely. Dude, at this point, I'm just going to buy a big Pelican case so I can check into the planes. At this point, just check in one, and that's it. But no, definitely like what it looks like. It looks really good. I love kind of like the pop of gray. It's something that I feel like a lot of companies can kind of do a little bit better, is just like pop in those little bit of like slight differences in colors at the very like top of the backpacks specifically, because whenever you have a backpack on, the first thing people notice is what it looks like at the top of your shoulders going down. So it's something that I notice a couple people mention is like the first thing people look at is the top of your shoulders, and then they start looking downwards and seeing that color change going down, especially with these little blue accents going across the back of it. Looks phenomenal. It looks like it has a pretty big side pouch here, and I'm assuming it opens up and there's a lot of space in this bigger compartment with the smaller front compartments being still really spacious. So super excited to see that one out at Bowl Expo.
Yeah.
Now, talking about Bowl Expo, so going to this previous scene here that we have, let me see if I can pull it up. It's always a tricky one with these. This is our last Bowl Expo event center here, or at least the last bowling center we worked in, which was Executive Bowl in Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky. So this year we're going to Vegas. Are you ready? Are you ready for a few weeks? I'm assuming you're going for a few weeks to Vegas.
No, I'm going to be out there. It's actually the shortest Bowl Expo trip I've ever taken.
What?
Yeah, it's which is okay. Too much time in Vegas isn't always a good thing. So I get in Sunday night and I leave. I'm on a red eye Thursday right after Bowl Expo's over. So we'll pack up the booth and throw it on some pallets and get it on a truck, and I'll be on my way to the airport. So
sweet. Well, I'm super excited for Bowl Expo. There's clearly a lot of new things that we're going to be checking out and looking into. I am definitely excited. I'm going for 9 days total, I believe. I get in for the masterclass on Friday. I'm not actually participating in the masterclass. I am just going for media, doing some IPSIA media this year. So I'm gonna be running around a little bit more wild than I did last year. But doing some media for IPSIA on that Friday, and then kind of seeing what the schedule looks like. I'm waiting for that. As soon as I get the schedule, that's when I'll start making the phone calls. You'll hear a phone call from me shortly after the schedules kind of go out. And just kind of prep to kind of go through, make sure everybody gets covered as best as possible this year. I'm going bigger than ever. There's a couple things on order from the camera company that I use to be able to kind of make things happen a little bit more easily. But super excited. Really nice talking to you, Bugsy. Thank you for coming on to the third episode of Around the Bowling World with Patrick. To anybody watching, again, if you have any input on anything that you saw on this podcast, make sure you guys reach out to Brunswick. They absolutely will take any input on certain things. Again, just keep in mind, not everything is possible in the certain price ranges that people are looking for. And as always, if you have any concerns or anything, make sure you guys message me or Bugsy or anybody over at Brunswick about anything that you might possibly need or might think they could do better. Again, thank you very much for having, or oh my God, I was about to say for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming by. It's always good to talk. We'll probably have to touch base sometime this week, kind of figure out some things and start getting in some things to be able to start videoing and start planning for Bowl Expo, which is a big one.
Awesome. And well, Patrick, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's great to be here. Thanks.
Thank you. Not a problem, guys. Alrighty. And just to kind of close out, guys, if you didn't already know, we have a giveaway going on this channel. If you didn't already know, all you have to do is go to bowlingworld.biz or Bowling World on YouTube and click on the video for the 5K giveaway. If you want to join that, all you have to do is go to that video, leave a comment, and be subscribed. So make sure you guys check that out. Thank you once again, everybody, for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.